Hey, everybody. LinkedIn, YouTube, welcome. The Stone Fruit Roll-Up. I'm Rebecca Gunter, your host. This is generally the show that you're watching about making the show that you're watching right now. And we're in a wildly experimental phase with this platform. So I'm toying with just kind of TikTok confessional style. And I am so glad for anybody who's here and joining us. Thanks for stopping by. Today's a real confessional for me because I have to admit to the live audience and anyone watching the recording that the cobbler's children have no shoes. And that means that I have really found myself kind of stuck in a positioning problem for the last 6 months or so. At least, probably you might even argue for a long time because it requires kind of stepping into a persona that we don't always see ourselves in. And so I'm here to talk all about positioning and messaging. If you're new to the stone fruit world or to me, or it's been a while, I talk about the art of positioning and messaging all of the time. It's my jam. It's the thing I want to be known for. It is my absolute key to success. It's how I write copy quickly and effectively. It's how copy literally leaps off the page, as some people say. It's exciting and bold, and the reason it works is because of positioning. And positioning is an art form in a way because it requires a little bit of intuition and articulation, but it's also simply a formula. You're creating a single sentence that, or a positioning statement, as it were. The art of positioning is the act, and I do it through creating a positioning statement, which is who are your people? What do they need? Who are you? What do you deliver? Or why are you special, different, or the one? So I'm going to talk about positioning today. This isn't me on the rooftop talking about why this is the end all be all way of doing things. This show is really about what it feels like to go through and why it's kind of fundamentally important to understand that before you get a facilitated positioning. You embark on that brand venture, you embark on that entrepreneurial journey, and you decide to articulate those things. Who are my people? What do they need? Who am I? What do I deliver? And why am I special, different, or the one? I got some really good advice recently from Jilly. Shout out to Jilly. That why does it take us all so long to recognize that we're our own best clients and we are our clients? And I think that that is super important to recognize that it's hard to do this on your own. My clients struggle with the articulation of what their brand is. And I was struggling too. I just didn't realize that I was. So I'm here to talk about it, be authentic and genuine. Again, the cobbler's children have no shoes. You're watching the Stone Fruit Roll-Up Casual Edition. I'm on my dynamic mic today so that I don't pick up all the room noise and clicks and beeps and bobs. I'm in my casual workhorse headphones. I'm in my casual t-shirt, and I'm ready to be vulnerable and genuine and approachable. If you have any comments at all, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm happy and thrilled to see folks here. Shout out to Jilly, who I just shouted out. So thanks for coming by, Jilly. I know this was tight in your schedule, and it's super important that you're here because you were the one who helped me articulate a new positioning. Why does that matter? It matters because you really need a facilitator to help you see this. The act of positioning alone is holding up a mirror to your personal brand and allowing that to express itself within the way you talk about yourself. If brand is your reputation brought to life in words, images, and pictures, these are your words. And you can be the best copywriter in the world. You can hang your hat on positioning. You can write a book about it. You can have podcasts about it. You can teach classes about it. You can workshop. You can guest and panel and have a keynote all about why positioning is, the marketer's dream, this framework, and still not have great positioning for yourself. So I want to talk a little bit about that and show you my old positioning and show you my new positioning. I've got some resources for you. I've got some DIY stuff. Even though I just went on this big thing about how DIYs, you need a facilitator, it still is beneficial to, do the work and put your time in creating positioning for yourself and for your business. If you learn how to do it, you can do it for all of your products and services. So, without further ado, I'll talk about what that actually is. So, in the art of positioning, how I do it with my clients is to sit down in a very kind of like safe, coachy environment, and they don't have to do any prep work before they come to the table. And I keep myself very blinded from any assets that they already have currently going, so that I have a very clean slate when I approach the table and we sit down and I just start to ask them questions. Who are your people? What do they need? Who are you? What are your products and services? What are you delivering? And what makes you special? What makes you different? What makes you the one for this work, for that particular set of, audience, essentially, or potential clients or leads or whatever, prospects, or however you want to talk about it. If you can match those things, then you get that like brand Shangri-La of people knowing instantly. You're instantly recognizable. People know your stuff immediately. You're able to weave these beautiful golden threads of key phrases and ideas, inspirations, and framing that really show people who your business is, who you are, what your products and services are all about, the community that you serve, etc. So I'll ask tons and tons of questions. This takes me generally 90 minutes to do. I write everything down on an old school notebook while recording the session. It seems very, kind of coachy, but generally it's me leading with curiosity to extract as much information as I can and contextualize it against the industry, against the zeitgeist, against kind of like, the vertical, against the niche. And I start to articulate a sentence that will express that in a deeply powerful way. We're really like, for blank who need blank, we are this thing that delivers blank, blank, and blank because of a big reveal, because of why. If you can nail that piece, your ideal customers will see you like immediately. They'll know that you're for them. And also, you'll know that they're for you because you've taken the time to articulate who your people are. I think when you're kind of at this entrepreneurial game for a while, for a long time, what can happen is you start to make some assumptions about who your people are based on just pure kind of like intuition for your business. And sometimes that assumption is just a little either off or not quite not articulated well and on a deeper level, and that can muddy the waters. You can be out here with an excellent product, being very, very good at what you do, delivering, sometimes over delivering on, you know, on every promise that you make, leading with value and generosity and community building and relationship marketing, and still not be attracting leads because you need someone to facilitate that thing and hold the mirror up to you. And within the last 2 weeks, I've had that happen to me. And I'll tell you, it was, I did not know. I did not know that it was this deep and powerful and just kind of like fundamentally transformative to have someone else hold up the mirror to you and have the words be accurate. Jilly says in the comments that you cannot do it yourself. I can't. Now I know. I can't agree more. I'm going to show you what I had before, the working version that I've been using. It is forward. It's I think it's rather, cheeky. It has a force or a gravitas to it. I've always thought that this, well, not always, because I changed my positioning, probably once a year I'm revisiting that piece. And I thought, well, I like really kind of got to my point to pretty quickly. Like I'm the positioning babe. And so I did that and I've been working off that positioning. And a lot of things have happened or not happened since that time that have thrown me kind of into a crisis. I wasn't, and still you could argue, to be honest, attracting my perfect people, except for by accident. If we'd been connected and they desperately needed a, well, not desperately, that's not the right word, but they needed a copywriter, and here I come along and my copy seems exciting, and we kind of start through the process and we go through it, and then we realize that we're a super good fit, but I could not see the forest for the trees and identify what was the thing, the thread that tied us together. So let's look at what I had before. And I've got this in the comments already queued up for us, I think. So bear with me, folks, as I navigate the live stream. So we're gonna show, yeah, there we go. Let's make sure I'm actually sharing this, you guys. Yay! I'm doing the thing. So, my old positioning, who's it for? For fierce and fearless entrepreneurs who need to navigate business with force, clarity, and authority. Rebecca Gunter is the transformational coach, brand therapist, and content co creator that delivers compassionate collaboration, radical self acceptance, and absolute authenticity because bitches get shit done. I thought that was strong. Um, Fierce and fearless really became a mantra of mine, but I wasn't talking to those people, and I wasn't being fierce and fearless myself. I still was leaning in on my resume of the work stands for itself, and I've been doing this for a long time, and perhaps you referred me. I still wasn't attracting the right, I wasn't really attracting anybody, to be honest. If nothing is special, if everything is special, then nothing is special. I wasn't really attracting anybody. I had people who liked my work and enjoyed me and referred me, but out of the blue, I wasn't catching my people. I wasn't representing being fierce and fearless. So let's look and see what happened when somebody else positioned me, which is exciting. Hey, Saturn, I'm writing again today. No, I'm not writing today. I'm talking about positioning and how I had positioning done and how it's really, a very personal and deep kind of ground shaking experience. It's emotional, soup's emotion. I cried like a baby. And it was really hard to kind of go through that process. And I don't mean hard like you don't want to do it. You absolutely do it if you want to, if you're embracing any kind of change, but um it's not easy. I had a phone conversation with season 1 entrepreneur on fire, Janine Payne, yesterday, and she said I didn't expect it to be like this. I didn't expect for it to be raw. And from, I show up and I embrace change and I'm willing to be vulnerable. And I know that's how you transform, but I didn't expect it to be so hard. So, Saturn, that's what I'm talking about today is how hard it is to kind of go through, get in your cocoon and liquefy as a caterpillar and come out as a beautiful butterfly. So we're looking at my current positioning statement, that's as it stood. Just that's the way I've been representing the world. And now let's take a look at what Jilly came up with me after many an existential crisis. after many tears on the phone about how I was not really, what happens when positioning is broken. When positioning is broken, you're not getting leads, you're not being referred, you're not getting comments, people aren't replying to your emails, no matter how personal they are. Your social engagement is anemic, milk toast. It's not happening. Things are not happening. And you don't feel like you're living your right business. You feel like you're living kind of someone else's business. You've bought yourself the world's crappiest job. So that is so that is not fun to experience as a business person, especially when you're just known for really showing up for people and doing the thing. Saturn says, "OMG, Janine," which is exciting. Here she is. Here they are. Here's Janine. But it's business in the raw, the name of the show. After all, exactly. Janine said, "You named that show appropriately. That's exactly what it feels like." So good observation, kid, for sure. All right, let's go back to what Jilly wrote. Now, listen to this instead. For ambitious disruptors who detest mediocrity and want to position themselves as far from the maddening crowd as possible, Rebecca Gunter is the writer, show hostess with the mostest, and maverick mentor who helps you punch mundane in the face. Because when you're brave enough to be unapologetically take up space, you deserve a brand as extra as you. Holy shit, you guys. Stand up and stand out, or shut up and sit down. I've always been saying stand up and stand out. I've never said shut up and sit down. What a game changer that is to to now be in this space where your people are maverick. Your people are disruptors. Your people smash status quo. Your people hate business as usual. Your people hate the way it's always been done. Your people cannot stand like pomp and circumstance for pomp and circumstance sake. Those are my people because that's me. But I didn't recognize that. I just kept saying fierce and fearless and not really being fierce and fearless myself. I was had a positioning problem. Now, where before, all I could do to kind of dance up and down the sales aisle essentially was to um was to talk hope that I would run across somebody who valued original copy and creative writing enough to pay for it. That was really who I was out there looking for. Well, that's not a great fishing ground to it's just really not that's really not bringing a remarkable set of clients to your table. My clients are remarkable, that's not what I mean. It's not bringing the just the beautiful simpatico of a fit like that, except for by kind of by either suggestion or accident. Lean into this detesting mediocrity. Lean into, I'll get you as far away from what everybody else is doing as possible. Stand up for hating, just average work. Stand up for that. That's a whole new set of clients that I did not even, it didn't even occur to me to start looking for. There are very few copywriters, I think, or brand strategists, I think, who can match the energy of a disruptor. I'm so sorry. Who can match the energy of a disruptor, of a status quo smasher, who needs to sound bold and exciting. That's the power of positioning, y'all. And that's the power of having somebody else do it for you, or facilitator, someone who can see you. Again, I'm dancing around the issues of like, oh, fierce and fearless entrepreneurs, because bitches get shit done. All that is really a cheeky way of saying that if you are, even leading edge in a little bit, I'll help you get shit done. And while that's absolutely true, this new version of positioning, which is here, Oops, edit my screen name. That's not it. Make this a thing. Hey, which is here. This is a place that allows me the freedom to really find my people. And I didn't have that before. So I just, again, want to give this incredible shout out and love. Um, Shout out and love with for Jilly, who saw that I was in crisis about it and did something about it. This isn't just something I'd heard from Jill, and it's not just something that I was experiencing in my real life. Like I said, the leads were anemic at best. Referrals were happening because people liked me and they wanted me to get it. They wanted me to have success and clients, but they didn't know exactly who I am for. Now that I have this positioning and I can really kind of get into it, not kind of, I can really get into it, then I'll be seeking out disruptors, and my colleagues who also have disruptors in their life will start hopefully making the connection. The referrals will be stronger. If we even, just kind of go and look at, let's go and look at a website I wrote for myself with this older positioning, just not too very long ago. I'm going to put this in. Let's share that one. Stop sharing. And now represent. Probably not the most effective way to do this, but here we are. And positioning host, positioning message, share with me, meet Rebecca. New tab. Yes. Okay. Nope. Sorry, everybody. Share this tab instead. Hey. Old positioning. If you can dream it, I can brand it. If I can brand it, you can sell it. Old positioning. Already, this feels like, dang, that's not a disruptor sentence by any means. Why was I holding back? Sovereignty is sacred. Whose sovereignty? Entrepreneurially spirited, wild, creative, and tenaciously talented? Yeah, absolutely. But wouldn't it be wouldn't it just like be much more impactful for me to lean into disruptors and this idea of detesting mediocrity, which I totally do. I never want to do things the way everyone else is doing it. Never. My favorite thing in the world is to have this like container that I have freedom to fill, but I still have boundaries. And how wildly can I bounce within that container? I love to cook when the ingredients are finite. I don't have a full pantry and I can't go to the store. So I love to see what kind of a meal can I pull out. I call it guerrilla cooking. What kind of meal can I pull out of that? These are the ways that I love to bounce around a box, and this is only mildly tapping it there. Um, this is closer. You already walk the walk, now talk the talk. Nurture a brand that rises to meet your reputation and ascends with your aspirations. We're closer. Life is too short to play it safe, but what have I been doing? I've really been playing it safe. Copywriting. Ooh, Lord. Sorry, everybody. Copywriting and brand strategy. Again, fierce and fearless. This is what positioning can do. So I just want to share. Oh, thanks, Saturn. Saturn loves this picture of me. Thank you, baby. Just wanted to share my own positioning journey, why that was so intensely problematic, and showing up for things weren't showing up for me, and it was painful. My business was painful because it wasn't mine. It was this other thing that I had built, and I had built on this beautiful brand, and it wasn't me. I wasn't showing up in it. I was outsourcing social just to kind of keep the lights on, and it wasn't me. I wasn't in this brand. So that's why positioning really matters. And I think it's important to talk about how even brand strategists and copywriters need someone else to help them position. So I shared with you that I would have some resources for people who are interested more in positioning. So I'll walk through those. It is kind of halfway through Stone Fruit Roll Up. Just a friendly reminder, I'm Rebecca Gunter, Peach and Chief at Stone Fruit. I am producing this weekly live show in to be perfectly meta and transparent in an effort to stretch my skills and gain visibility and also create a digital marketing playground for Stone Fruit. And it's been a lot of fun to be here. So thank you for anyone who's still hanging on in the comments. For you, I have a very special offer because that's what we're doing here now is I'm going to have an offer during the live stream if whenever possible, if it's a solo show or if it's something that's directly here. So I've got an offer. We'll share this tab instead. I'm offering this for 50% off for anybody who's here on the live stream. I've got 4 of these available, what I call beta testing, which means you'll get the beautiful positioning and messaging full fat version, but I'll be asking you questions about how it went. So this is not something that we promote all of the time, but it's an awesome opportunity to get something for, half off essentially, to be able to tap into these kind of higher end brand strategy services directly for, one-on-one white glove experience at a super affordable price. So if you're here on the Fruit Roll Up or watching live or watching the recording, there are 4 of these available, and I couldn't be more happy to extend them. If we're sold out and you still want one, just email me, Rebecca.Gunter, Rebecca .Gunter at stoned, STONED, fruit.com, and I will totally hook you up. But we've got 4 for sale right now. So that is my offer that I'm essentially kind of live selling if we're going to go super meta about it. Let's look at some other resources, you guys. I've got this site queued up. I'm going to leave this special offer here in the comments, but also in the comments is the link to this special offer. To this resource page. Get it together, Rebecca. All right. There's a lot of resources here. Way down at the bottom. My goodness. Testimonial, frequently asked questions. My God. I lied like a rug. There's no resources there, but I do have one for you. I promise. I have got, we've got a workbook. So let's share that instead. You can get this directly on stonefruit.com. I'll put the link. It's in the comments, but I'll also put it in the show notes. This is positioning is a way to really understand or think about what positioning is all about, why we should do it, how it matters, and I've got some awesome worksheets here. So while I'm beating the drum or shouting from the mountaintops that you really need a facilitator to help you do this, it is worthwhile to start thinking about this stuff for yourself. Maybe you've got a business bestie that you can, collaborate on, and the 2 of you can get together and help refine it. I really didn't understand how much I am a disruptor for disruptors. I am the voice of the disruptor. I did not know that until I had a facilitator, but I got pretty close. I got close. I mean, if we looked at that kind of original website copy, I got close, but I never really fully stepped into it. And it was kind of a poison essentially in my business. So there's some worksheets here to create a to create a positioning statement with some prompts to do it, which is nice. And then some more, some more prompts and do it yourself, and then a little bit about this primer. So this is some awesome opportunity to kind of just get your head around the art of positioning, how to do it for yourself, and or maybe or you've got some colleagues. This is how I do it in real life. If you want to watch that happen in real life, tune in on Mondays at 100 TV, YouTube channel extraordinaire. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. Follow along as I'm working through positioning and messaging in the end of building a brand new brand for dear friend, colleague, and friend of the show, Janine Payne. We just launched on Monday, and there is episode 1 up on YouTube already after a live launch. Business in the Raw is a 1-hour show. It's not live, but it has a live feel to it in which me and Janine do work like I do with clients all the time. We sit down, we do a deep discovery. She had an incredible opportunity to kind of write a fresh, brand new chapter in her life. So we toyed with all kinds of business ideations and how she could take her talents to marketplace and create something that she absolutely loved and wanted to further and develop. And we made that choice and we went through the journey of positioning, which is crawling through the glass. Really, you really have, who are my people? Who are they? It is not something that's so easy to define for some of us, particularly if you're in a wildly experimental modality and just running around and trying things out and seeing what fits and doing the thing. So and then we come up with what that positioning statement is. That is a process of crafting three of them from very different perspectives and then iterating and polishing until we have the perfect plum. Janine's going to get some business coaching advice from Jilly on how to apply what I like to call the Moxie magic to her business modeling, which is based on visioning and goals and objectives and what kind of business she wants to create for herself. We will go get some headshots done. We'll write some website copy. We'll get essentially her digital footprint up and ready to go based on positioning. So if you want to see that happen, get a ringside seat for it. There are plenty of opportunities to do so on 100 TV. And I just want to thank Saturn for coming by, Saturn Gunter, also of Stone Fruit, and my delightful kid. I want to thank Jilly for coming by. She has absolutely saved my life in this last 2 weeks. I was really in an entrepreneurial existential crisis myself. It was it's very, very painful to have a positioning problem. It hurts. Like I'm getting emotional just talking about it. It hurts to be in when you know that you are so of service to the right person, but you haven't articulated who they are. You haven't articulated what they need. You can't really say what makes you special, different, or the one. It is an entrepreneurial existential crisis and it is real. So if you're in one, I encourage you to reach out to me. As I said, you can go on the website, you can check out resources, you can explore podcast episodes about it. Please reach out to me directly. I'm here to help. rebecca.gunter@stonedfruit.com. Messaging, positioning, that's my jam. I can do it for anybody else. I must have done like hundreds of positioning in my day. I must have done hundreds of positioning statements, and I've had no problem executing those for other people. But when it comes to myself, that was really tough. So I feel like we can sign this one off early, y'all, unless anybody has any questions for me, because this is also an Ask Me Anything. I would even send you a link and you could come on live. If there's anybody out there who wants to do it, I am so for it. Otherwise, just a some words of encouragement, man. Like entrepreneurship is hard. It's hard because there's no guarantee. You can check every box and still not make it on whatever making it means to you. You can show up and spin out and grind and work yourself, kind of into oblivion and still not be happy, which is crazy because you've bought yourself a job. And if you've bought yourself a job, I just encourage you to rip up that resume and start again. It is very freeing to do it. I feel like I can take a lot more space. I feel like I can talk to disruptors and status quo smashers in my genuine voice, the voice that you genuinely don't get to see normally unless we're in a private one-on-one session. So I'm going to change that because I feel strong about lied like a rug, Jilly. He not lied like a rug. We're not ending this. I'm still doing some cheerleading for my Maverick disruptors who loathe mediocrity, who cannot stand to sound like everybody else, who just absolutely makes their skin crawl to see another email nurture sequence template come across their desk where someone has only changed a few words and you sound just like everybody else in your industry. If that drives you absolutely bananas and you still don't have your right people in front of you, the struggle is real, and I'm here to help in any way that I can. So thank you for anyone who's hung out today with me, Saturn, Jilly, anyone watching the recording. I really appreciate rolling up, coming by and rolling up the Stone Fruit Roll Up. I'd love to hear from folks, whether in the comments or emailing me directly or a DM of all of these shows. What have they liked? We've done interview shows, we've done irreverent comedy, we've done Chuck 'em Up, we've done Write With Me, we've done On Location, we've talked about business, we've talked about, kind of how it affects our personal lives. What's been interesting? Anything? Let me know. I'd love to hear what people think. This is a fun space to be in, and I enjoy being here. It gets easier and easier as time goes on to like just turn on the camera and start talking to the green dot. If you're a content creator, if you're building a platform, it's a lot. It's a lot to show up. And also for anyone who wears makeup, you gotta always be camera ready. So it's a lot of a lift. The comments, the engagement, and just showing up for it day after day. I hope that folks are enjoying it. It is my sincere hope. So, ending this Stone Fruit Roll Up at exactly 40 minutes in. Thank you, Jilly and Saturn, for coming by. Thank you for anyone who's listened to my story. And I wish you the most power and positioning. All right, you guys, I'm leaving the studio and I'll see you next week. It's going to be a good one.